Good morning, students. Today we will see the another chapter. In last we have seen the poem To Celia, and in this video also we will deal the poem that is The Send Off. This poem is written by Wilfred Woven. He was born in year 1893 and died in year 1918. Was an English poet and a soldier who is considered the greatest poet of First World War. His war poetry on the horror of trenches and gas warfare stood in the stark contrast to the public perception of war at the time. Most of his work were published posthumously. Among his best known work are Dulce et Decem Est, Insensibility, Anthem for Doomed Youth, Futility, Exposure, and Strange Meeting. Now we will deal the theme, summary, and we will understand the poem stanza by stanza. Okay, so student, please pay attention. Now this poem Send Off is a anti-war poem and is a typically dark, which was a trademark of Wilfred Woven's poetry. The send off primarily as expression of rough journey taken both physically and mentally by the soldiers, the village acting as a microcosm for the nation in World War I. Now I will tell you the summary of the poem. So before summary, I'll tell you the theme of the poem. What is the theme? The major theme of the poem is death and war are clearly the part of this poem, but the more subtle theme of this camaraderie and bravery among the soldiers is powerfully felt. The insensibility of those on the home front, the women who give the flowers, and to the dull potter is highlighted. Perhaps the most overpowering theme in the poem is the sense of loss, futility of war, with which the poem ends. The pity of war is poet's self-confessed theme. Means the poetry is in pity. This poetry reveals the sense of sadness. Now I'll tell you the summary of this poem. See, in this poem is of 4 stanza, and each stanza is having the 5 lines. Okay, this send off is a poem about some troop that have just come from the sending of ceremony. Yes, sending of ceremony means before going somewhere you were giving a party that you are going. We are sending to you somewhere. So the troop is coming from the sending of ceremony before departing by the train. Pre-assembly to the front line of the World War I. The poem has many themes running through it. Some of these are death, strangers, flower, healing, secretiveness. So this poem by the Wilfred Woven is one of his best poem. He has written one. It is his best poem, means you can say very nicely he has written, and he has written when he was in a Ripon in a place where there is a big army camp was there. So soldiers were given a white flowers garland with proud. Here white flower symbolizes that these flowers are used at the time of funeral. Flowers are stuck with the soldier's chest, which seems that the soldiers are wrapped in the white clothes. They are wrapped in a white clothes, which looks like that they are in a coffin. You know, students, you understand the meaning of coffin? Coffin means a box which is used when someone die. In a Christianity religion, that when someone dies, the people are kept in that box. That box is called coffin. they are unable to move. Means in a coffin, if anyone will be kept, they will not be able to move. This whole scene make poet feel or imagine that soldiers are in coffin wrapped in a white cloth because flower is stuck in their breast. Means it is told that when they are given the flower, that which flower was stuck or pinned in their dress, that reveals that shows that they are wrapped in a white cloth. This impression is portrayed here that the soldiers are already going for their funeral. As we all know, the person who is going for the war may return or may not return. Women, relatives who are present on the relay station, are asked, doesn't they feel, means they were asked that, don't they feel that this scene look like a soldiers are going for their funeral? At the same time, the leader of the troop was also having the feeling that the soldiers are marching for their funeral because they are all silent. As you all know, when we go for someone's funeral, there is a complete silent because everyone is sad, everyone is green. It seems the soldier has accepted the fact which will come and that they are about to die in the war. So silently, secretly, they are moving towards the train. These soldiers who are going to the war for the war, they knew that only few of them will return, and those who will return will not return in the heroic manner. Means they don't want that those who are returning after the war, they don't want that the relatives or family who are present there will give will welcome them as a heroic way, because they are mentally and physically very hurt. Means they are feeling sad, those who has been died in the war. They soldiers need to be healed. Hint at healing and suggest that those few soldiers who do return may wish to do so silently. Means they want to do all these things very silently, calmly, and not as a heroes that may not wish to discuss the reality and the horror that they have experienced. Means they don't want to go through that memory, go through that which they have seen right now in the war. Now I'll discuss the poem stanza by stanza. So please students, pay attention. Down the close darkling lane they sang their way to the siding shed and lined the train with the faces grimly gay. Student, underline the word here, gay. Gay means happiness. Their breasts were stuck all white with wreath and spray, as men's are dead. In this first stanza, the first line, down the close darkening lane, means there it is a description about the atmosphere, that it is a time of the evening. Darkening means the time of evening when the sun sets, sun's dawn, and in whole environment the darken has spread in the lane. Here the darkening symbolizes, student please see in the poem first line, darkening symbolizes in the negative sense, like in a negative sense, because everyone is sad, environment is going to be down, and sunset is going to happen, and by describing about the atmosphere, poet is also wants to describe about the feeling with feeling of the person over there. Okay, down, the first word down here. Student, please underline the word down. Down means here literal meaning it is that lower portion, down. But it is sense that everyone is sad. Soldiers were singing a song of their way, means the train is going to the siding shed. Student, underline the word siding shed. The meaning of siding shed is given here. A place where train are parked at the railway station. Means this soldiers were singing their song. They are in the train, and the train is where train is going. Train is going to the where the train are parked. The place where train is parked. Okay. The next line, and lined the train with faces grimly gay. Line the train means we all know how disciplined soldiers are. means their way of standing or behaving, everything are in very disciplined way. Means they have to enter the train, they are in the queue, they are in the line, they are entering the train with a sad face but happy. Means these two things are revealed here. Grimly, student underline the word grimly. Grimly means serious. Means they are serious also. Why serious? Because they all knew what the next are going, what is the next going to come. Means they are going for the war, and they knew the reality of war. So they are sad but happy. Happy means happy why? Because they are proud to fight for their country. So they are proud. Next line, their breasts were stuck all white with wreath and spray, as men are dead. In these lines, soldiers were made to wear the wreath, means garland of the flower, white flowers, and those flowers stuck to their chest, means it was pinned to their dress, pinned to their chest. Here exactly the garland word is not used, because garland word is always in a positive sense. Here the word is used is wreath. Student, underline the word wreath. Wreath means you all have seen, it's a this circle like garland, means flower is all round, which is used when any soldier is martyr. Okay, when any soldiers die, to give the respect, we give the wreath on the body of the soldier. So wreath is used in a negative sense. Poet has feel. Poet wants to say. Poet want to reveal that he knew that soldiers are ready to go in the war, and that means from before only he's sensing, he's expressing that. They are given the wreath, they are giving that garland. At the time of welfare, the soldiers were giving the wreath. Poet has imagined from before only that these soldiers are going to die. That's it. The poet in the next line says, so that's why in the next line poet says, as the men are dead. Means from before he has imagined that they are going to die, they will die. So they are giving the wreath. It has been imagined or expressed by the poet. Okay. Now that's all for today. Please student, write the summary theme which I have told right now in the video, and try to make understand these lines in your own words. Thank you.